welcome to Sparkle and Chill. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Today is Saturday. I'm not quite sure the day. I think it's the 12th or the 13th. Might be the 14th or the 15th. Might be the 15th. I don't know. It's been such a long week. You guys knew my week. Oh my gosh, it was a long week. But anyways, hope you guys are doing well. How are you guys doing? I have been, like I said, it was a long week. Today has been a good day. Got a few things done. Went to the grocery store. Millie had her first outing outside at the park, and that was fun. Interesting. She does not know how to walk on a leash yet, so it was kind of interesting. And what else? So those are kind of the things that have happened in the last few days, or last 24 hours, I guess I should say. Yesterday was a long day. I was trying to work on a program. I was trying to develop a new outreach for my work, and it did not go as planned. Anyways, so that didn't get finished, which I had hoped to get it done. I feel like I got absolutely nothing done and spent the whole day doing it. Ever have days like that? Anyways, today I was tagged by Colleen over at Pixie Sparkles, that's her channel, to do some tag questions. And this is a thing that I know, I don't know if it originated with her, and Colleen didn't either, but Coco, Diamond Painting with Coco. She did this a little while back. I want to say, I don't remember exactly when it was, but I do remember watching her video on it. Anyway, so I'm going to take a stab at it, and hope you guys enjoy the video. Oh, and I'm working on my pansies. I was going to work on Gus, but this is just easier because they're already in the trays and it's late, and it's about, well, my clock on my microwave stopped working. It is 9:30. I woke up way too early today, so when this video is done, this girl's going to bed. Anyways, let's get into it. So the very first question is, have you ever diamond painted outside? And I can say no, I have not diamond painted outside. I think it's a nice idea. I just don't really have the setup for it. I guess I could now, but no, I have never diamond painted outside. I wouldn't mind doing so though, but I have not. Okay, question number 2. Are you right or left-handed? I am right-handed, and yeah, I don't know much more to say about that, but I am right-handed, and both of my cousins are left-handed, and when they were in grade school, the teachers made them switch, and so now they can do things with both hands, but they're still very much lean to the left hand. But I am a right-hand person. Okay, and oh goodness, here's the one thing about these. These are really fun, but you click them just right, they bounce off. Okay, let's see. Let me get here. Third question. Have you ever purchased from Temu No, I have never purchased from Temu, and I don't believe I will ever purchase from Temu. For a couple of reasons. One, I heard really bad things about it when it first came out too, but also it takes a lot for shipping, a long time. Everybody that I've seen that have done it, it takes a lot of time for shipping, and the stuff is generally not great quality from what I have been able to gather. Now, I've seen some of their, I do know that some of their diamond paintings and stuff like that end up on they end up on Amazon, so I'm sure we get a lot of the same stuff, but I don't have to pay shipping and all that other stuff. So to me, it's just not something. One of the things that I had heard about it before was that, you know, it was a way for them to get a hold of your credit card information and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really need a foreign company taking my money. So so I have never bought from Temu, and I don't think that's something that I'll ever do. I mean, never say never, but at this point it's not in my plans, so to speak, I guess I can say. Oh, I did not redo my wax before I started. What is the next question? Have you ever thrown a canvas away? Yes. I did a video, actually. The video that I have labeled The Big Cat, and there's actually a couple different whip and chats that I did on that particular painting. I'm going to have to do this. And it was a beautiful canvas, and it would have been really nice, but they messed up the coloring on it. They put a whole section of it, a whole section of the canvas on the face of it. If it had been just the plants or something like that, it would have been okay, but I was about 2/3 of the way done, and I got to the part where you were working on the face, and it was supposed to be, you know, those bright orange and black and, you know, beautiful, and they did the whole section, and I didn't notice it because I get in the zone and I'm just going by the numbers on the thing, and so I didn't really notice what was happening until after it was done. And then I tried to fix it. What they did was they did all of the a whole section of it was just in gray, and then I thought I did it wrong. I thought I made the mistake, but no, they had mislabeled those that section, and so it was really bad. I mean, it was really bad, and so I got really frustrated, and I threw it away. And you know, and I really liked it, though. I was really upset because it was the biggest one I'd ever worked on before at that point in time. And, you know, granted, it was a Amazon, you know, budget kit that I think cost me, I think it was like $12.99 or something like that. But I really liked the kit. I really liked the picture, and I wanted it. And the eyes in it had turned out so pretty, and I was just really devastated when it wasn't what it should have been. I was so upset, but you know, it happens. You know, you're gonna run into situations like that, especially with budget kits. You just never know what's gonna happen. You know, things happen. So yes, I've thrown away that one, and then I had another one that I kitted up. It was a Hobby Lobby brand, Studio something, I think what they're called, something Studios, and it was the drill fill was really not easy for me to read, and so I got it all kitted up and went to start doing it, and I looked at it and I was like, no, I don't don't think I want to do this. And so I didn't throw it away actually. It's still there, but it's not going to get done by me. I figured there might be somebody who's more interested, whose eyes are better. I prefer not to throw things away if I can help it, because, you know, you spend a lot of money on things, and I don't know who might want to do it, but it's still kitted up. I just don't have, my eyesight is, my eyes can get strained really easily, and if I'm trying to look at, they were all done, the ones that I looked at and was like, I don't think, they were done in gray, and it just was going to be really difficult for me to decipher, so I decided not to work on that. So I did not throw that one away, though. It's still sitting here. It might get thrown away unless I find somebody who wants it, and wants to work on it. It's a cute kit. It's a little kitty cat, but I just don't think it's something that I'm going to enjoy doing because of that. And then, what's the next question? Is there a company you will never buy from again? Company I will never buy from again. You know, I haven't really run into that yet. I'm sure that there will be at some point. I know that there are, but to be honest, I haven't bought from a lot of different companies. I'm not sure that I would do Paintly again, although I haven't done the painting yet that I got from them. I got 2 paintings from them, and 2 paint by numbers, actual paint by numbers. My bad. I didn't look at the fine, but to be honest, I didn't know that they did paint by numbers, so I didn't know I should be looking for it to say paint by number, or, but the price of those kits, and again, I haven't put any drills down on them yet. I will do them. But just that they were pretty expensive for what they ended up being, and one of them was way small. I'm sure that I had clicked it up to the 30 by 40, and it came as like a 20 by 20, not even I don't even think it was a 20 by 20, this little tiny thing. I did a video on the unboxing, and I was quite shocked, because I know that I flipped it over to the bigger painting, because I know it showed it as a small painting, but then it also showed that you could do different sizes, and I clicked on another size, and I know I paid quite a bit of money on it. And so, no, I don't think I would buy from them again, just because my experience was what it was, you know. It's not their fault that I ordered the paint by number, but I didn't get the size painting that I know I clicked up to, and they were really expensive for what they were. So, no, I don't think I'll be buying from them again. And that was one I took a chance on. I saw an ad on Facebook and bought them, and so that's just not something that I'm going to do. Okay, next question. What do you watch while diamond painting? Well, sometimes I will have things on in the background, but honestly, when you're diamond painting, it's kind of hard to watch something, so I'm not generally watching anything. I might listen to something. Generally speaking, though, if I'm not doing a video, I generally have music on. It's just, or an audio book. I haven't done that in a long time, though. I used to play my audiobooks, but I really haven't done any of that lately either. I think a lot of times my go-to is just to turn the radio on, and yeah, that's generally what I do when I'm not doing a video and I'm diamond painting. Or I'll have the TV on and it's just on as background noise. And a lot of time it might be another diamond painter, and I'm just listening to them talk while I do my diamond painting. So I do that a lot, actually, as well. Okay. How many hours a week do you diamond paint? I don't really know. and it varies probably from week to week. When I didn't have a puppy dog, I diamond painted all my free time. But now I have a very jealous little puppy who doesn't like me to be over here, and so if I do it for too long, she starts to get a little bit upset. She is good for me to do this for about an hour, and then she's like, you should be over here holding me. She has only child syndrome. All my dogs have had only child syndrome, where they get what they want. And truth be told, since I got her, things have been a little crazy anyway, so I don't know that I would have diamond painted more than I have lately either, which hasn't been a lot. Typically, yeah, I don't know. I don't time myself, so I don't really know. I usually just sit down and do a section. And sometimes that section is a full, normal size diamond painting section from the little papers that I have, or even what looks like the Diamond Art Club little squares. I do about that size of a square at a time. So it really depends. Sometimes I'll do one of those. I used to, when I wasn't working, I could diamond paint all day long and not get tired of it. And when I didn't have a dog, and I didn't really have anything that I had to do, I wasn't working, I could diamond paint all day long and enjoy it. But right now we're on a different schedule. But Millie's getting bigger, and it won't be long. Things will be a little bit different. Once she gets out of the puppy stage where she's into everything, then I can move her little bed over here, and she can lay down out here, or by my desk, and do just fine. But right now she just wants to get into things if she's over here, so I can't really let her be over here while and that's what she doesn't like. She's kind of blocked off by the gate on the other side of the room. She can see me because she'll get up on the top of the couch and watch me, but she can't really do anything to get over here. So I guess that answers that question. I just don't know. Okay. What is the longest you've ever sat to diamond painted? I don't really know, because I don't time myself, but probably a few hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours. Probably 3. There's been days where I don't sit in one stint. There's been times when I've done, where I'll diamond paint do a section, get up, get some laundry done or something like that, get that stuff going, and then come back to it. So there's days where I diamond painted almost all day, but I took breaks because I don't think I could just sit here for that long, for as long as, all day, like that on the days that I like to do that. I think it's more of a, really depends on the time frame I have. And yeah, I think it's probably 2 or 3 hours. And that was before Millie, when I could get lost in it. And I love that feeling. I love the feeling of getting so into a project that you just lose all sense of time, and next thing you know, it's dinner time and you're like, oh man. Kind of reminds me of when I was a kid and we'd be outside playing, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, the streetlights went on, we got to get home. But we had no idea we had been out that long. And we would even forget to eat lunch and stuff. I mean, I remember as kids, we would be outside playing and doing all these things, and all of a sudden it would be time to go home, and we'd be starving because we totally didn't go home and eat any lunch or anything. We were just too busy playing. And our parents back in the day, they didn't know where you were. I mean, typically when I was a kid, we were either at the creek, or we were, you know, at the playground. Those were really the two places, or at, you know, one of our friends' houses. You know, the big joke these days is wherever all the bikes were piled, that's where all the kids were, and that really was a true thing. I mean, I know people don't, you know, the kids today don't understand that, because, I mean, half the kids don't even ride bikes anymore, you know. Well, I thought that was really weird when I had a friend who's it was summer, and I was like, "You guys ever, where do you guys ride your bikes and stuff?" And they looked at me. "We don't ride bikes." I'm like, "You don't ride bikes?" He had one and he knew how to ride it. They just didn't do things the way we did when we were kids, which to me is so odd. But you know, we were or we were outside roller skating. All the girls in my neighborhood when I was little, between the ages of 7 and 10, we got roller skates, outdoor roller skates, and that was what we did. We roller skated, or we were riding our bikes, or we were at the creek. Those were our options. We were never in the house. Or sometimes I had my one of my friends that we used to like to play Barbies, but that was not very frequently in that neighborhood. We did it occasionally, but most of the time we were outside. I think that was really the parents in my day. It was like, go outside and play, go get some fresh air. I mean, and they pretty much, you know, I had people say they were locked out of the house as kids. I was never locked out of the house. We were never told we couldn't come into the house, but it was pretty much go outside and play. And the thing was, if you came in, you know, and if you ever said you were bored, my mom would definitely find something for you to do. So you never said you were bored when I was a kid. Never. I'm bored. I remember the first, okay, you can vacuum, you can dust, you can do the dishes. There's all sorts of things I can put you to work, or you can go find something to do. And we generally did the latter. Okay, let me see here. Let me get these ones down. There's a couple more of this letter. I only did a little strip here because I had not quite finished this block the other day. Okay, next question. Does your family diamond paint? No. I am the only one that I know of in my family that diamond paints, although I think my niece has tried it. But no, as far as I know, I am the only one who diamonds paints. But I think Ashley tried it once. And I did give her a couple kits for her birthday, but I don't know if she ever did them. But no, I'm the only one that diamond paints. Okay. And how many other crafts have you done? Well, before I did diamond painting, I was big time into quilting, and I did quilting for probably about 25 years. I had so much fabric, and it was worse than diamond painting, I'm telling you. And I absolutely loved sewing and quilting and making quilts and, you know, giving them as gifts to family members and friends when their kids had, you know, when they had babies and all of that. But when I moved to this apartment, it was just really hard to do, because this is my space really, and I suppose I could, but you got to have an ironing board up, and there's just all these things. And this place was so small. Having an ironing board up is dangerous when you got a dog running around, and so I just sort of, and when I moved into this apartment, probably about 2 or 3 months into moving into this apartment, I got sick the first time. I ended up with a uterine cancer, and I was not doing well as far as really doing much of anything in my free time because I was not feeling very good, and I did a lot of sleeping and a lot of, it just wasn't a good time. And so I kind of just stopped doing that hobby. Other things that I've done as hobbies has been, I crocheted. I taught myself to crochet in high school. I tried to get my mom to teach me how for years as a kid when I was younger, because my mom crocheted all the time. And she tried, but she couldn't. She was too fast and I couldn't get it. So I checked a book out of the library and taught myself how to do the granny squares and the regular straight stitch and whatnot. And I made mini kids blankets or Afghans, and that was a lot of fun. And yeah, so I did crochet. I never learned to knit, but I could crochet. I painted ceramics for a period of time, probably about maybe 2 or 3 years, that I kind of went through a phase of doing painting ceramics, and that was fun. I did enjoy that, but there's only so much room you could, ceramics I kind of phased out of that, and that's when I started sewing and whatnot. What else did I do? Oh, for a period of time, okay, this is kind of funny. For a period of time, I did painting rocks. So one day I was on Facebook, or no, one day I went for a walk. Let's do this in the right order. I went for a walk, and I found this rock that said "Better Together" or something. And this was in 2020, when things were pretty much shut down, but I was still walking to the park because I was a little bit rebellious. I'm like, there isn't anybody around. Why can't I be outside? And as long as you were 6 feet apart, you could go. So during the shutdown, I did go to the park. And I found this, and a lot of people they weren't doing activities together, but a lot of people had started doing this painting rocks thing, and they were leaving rocks at different places, and it was just kind of a fun little thing to do, to go out and look for rocks. So I bought all the stuff, and it was funny, I didn't know that a friend of mine was also painting rocks or looking for rocks. I didn't know she knew anything about it. And so I'm talking to her on the phone one day, and she goes, yeah, I was walking, I found this great place to go walking, and it's a forested area not far from where we live. And she goes, but I tripped because I was looking up in a tree for rocks. And I'm like, come again? And she says, well, I was looking for rocks, and I tripped, and I banged my knee up pretty good. And I'm like, no, why are you looking up in trees for rocks? And she goes, oh, I painted rocks. And then she told me about this Facebook group, which turned out to be the same Facebook group that there was some painting on the back of the rock that I had found. Anyways, I started doing that for a little while. I didn't do it for too terribly long. Just wasn't really my thing. It was fun to do a few. I made some ladybugs and some, different things, and it was fun. But I didn't do it for very long. So those are pretty much the hobbies that I've done. I mean, when I was a kid, I would go through everything, but catching grasshoppers and that kind of thing was, those were kind of hobbies. Okay. I think that's all the hobbies you need to hear about. How long have you diamond painted? Well, I started diamond painting in, let's see, I think May of 2023. It was May. I got sick in April. A friend of mine sent me some kits I believe it was in May. of 2023. That was when I had my second cancer, and this one was much harder than just having surgery. Uterine cancer was easy for me because I was sick at first when we didn't know what was going on, but then it was very, it was very contained and not as serious as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. That's a bit more serious, and at least it was for me. And now I had to go through the chemo and everything with that. So my friend sent me the kits for some kits, and that's how I got started. Okay. And how long have you been on YouTube? I've been on YouTube since April of 2025. Yeah, so just a little over a year. This is my first year, and yeah, that's how long I have been here. D is the next color. Okay. How many events have you been in? Just one. Well, I tried to do, I guess two. I tried to do my own, but I was too small of a thing. It wasn't really an event. It was more of a paint-along. But then this year I participated in the Peggy Collins one that just ended here last month. I did not finish. In fact, Gus is the painting that I started on with that. I guess it was the month of June. And it's taken me a while. I've had a lot of interruptions in life this last few months. Between not working, and my jobs get in the way of my diamond painting, I gotta tell you. I mean, if I didn't have to work, I'd get all sorts of projects done. I did love the Peggy Collins one. It was a lot of fun. I don't like events for a couple of reasons, okay? I like the Peggy Collins just because it is fun to see, and I'm sure I would like other ones too, but my problem with the events is they have a time limit on them, get it done in a month or 2 months or whatever the event length is. And I'm slow, as you guys can tell. I have enough diamond paintings to last me my whole life right now, honestly. Because I'm slow, I don't get things done. When I was not working, I could get one like Gus done in a month, no problem, plus a couple other smaller deals. But while I'm working, it's really difficult to get much done because I've only got, the evenings, and sometimes I'm just too tired. I mean, if I'm honest, there's nights where it's like I want to. There's the want in me to do it, but then I'm just too tired and I don't want to do it because I'm too tired. And I get sloppy when I'm tired. And I start dropping things and spilling drills, and it's just a big headache when I'm too tired. So, yeah, so I have done them. I don't really like to be under the gun to get things done within a time frame, because then it's not fun. It's stress, and I do this to de-stress, not to stress. Okay. Do you time yourself diamond painting? No, I do not. I do not time myself when I'm diamond painting. That just adds stress to it. Or maybe it's just I haven't thought about it. I try to put a start date and an end date, but that's the extent of keeping track of how long it took me to do something. I just don't see the point. I work with metrics all day at work. And so the idea of turning my hobby into something that I have to do metrics on, I'm just not into it. What's the matter, Millie? What's the matter, baby? What's the matter? What you crying about? I know. Have I been an hour yet? I don't think so. It's only been 35 minutes. So chill, I'm almost done. See, she's like, you're not over here paying attention to me, and I don't really like that. You're not at least laying here while I'm sleeping. What is your favorite DMC color? You know, I really don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I like purples and blues and bright colors of all. I really like dark colors. Or not dark colors, bright colors. But I don't think I've ever said this is my favorite DMC color. I don't think I've ever done that. I do like bright colors though. I like them to be bright and colorful. Okay, and have you ever bought any enhancements before? Well, I haven't bought an enhancement kit. Millie, honey, stop. I'm working on this. You're fine. You're fine. Just relax. Yeah, just relax. I haven't bought an enhancement kit. I did, however, I was at Michael's and I found ABs. And I bought 2 different things. One had I think 30 different ABs, and and they were the little Art Dot jars. And I don't know if they're by Art Dot, but the jars were like the ones from Art Dot suitcases. That's the size of them. So they've probably got about 1,000 drills in them. And then I bought one set that was that, and then another set that had 9 or 10 different colors in it that were metallics. And so I have used those in some of my budget kits because they don't come with specials. So sometimes when I've worked on my calendar one, I made a mistake. I thought I ran out of colors, but I didn't. The extras were there, so I pulled out the same color though in my ABs, and it was fun to make it a little more sparkly than it would have been. And so I did that with a few different ones. I have added those with some of my budget kits. It's kind of fun to decide to bling it up a little bit, right? But I haven't bought an actual enhancement kit. They're expensive, and if I've already paid as much money as I have for a Diamond Art Club, it comes with specials, so I don't feel the need to do it. One word to describe diamond painting, and I would say healing. I started this while I was recovering and going through treatment, and it really did calm me. I guess calm is another word too. I don't know that I could think of just one word, but just one word would be healing. But I think calming as well, because when you're going through a life-threatening disease and you really don't know what end is up, and you're not sure if treatment's going to work, or if something else is going to have to happen if this doesn't work. That was my fear with the first time I got cancer. I was worried about if after surgery was I going to have radiation, because I was told it was a possibility. Thankfully that was a big no. And then because they got in and they were able to get it. And then with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, there's just maybe the treatment works and maybe it doesn't. So it's kind of, things are up in the air. You just don't know. So it was very calming because it gave me something to do, something to keep my mind busy, and give me something to do, because I am a person who's used to working a full-time job and suddenly not working and having having the illness that I had. It was a lot of stress because I found myself alone a lot, working, with nothing to do. Everybody was working, and it was just it was a different time in my life, and diamond painting was a lifesaver, really, in that regard. Okay. And would you do a diamond painting 24-hour stream? Would I do a 24-hour live stream diamond painting? I think is the way that's supposed to be. I probably wrote it down a little bit wrong. Probably not. Maybe if I was in my 20s, but I'm not, and I don't think I would last 24 hours. I would be way too tired. I could see that as a catastrophe. It might be comical for people watching, though, because by the time, once I get tired and I'm diamond painting, that's when funny things start to happen with me. Things like spilling drills and, knocking things over, putting the wrong color on the wrong symbol. I could think of a number of things that could go wrong in a 24-hour stream. That, and honestly, it's hard enough for me to think of things to say for an hour, let alone for 24 hours, trying to figure out, what to do in a live stream for that long. No, that would be too much stress. And I honestly don't think I would even know what to say, and, to do something for that long. Maybe if it was like a group event where there was a few different creators together talking. I've seen those done. I've been on what is Miss Southern Belle. I've watched some of her late nights. She cracks me up. There's been times when I've come on, she's like, "Want to join us? Come on, get on." I don't know how to do the live streams, for one thing, and late at night, has been a couple times that I've caught her on an evening, and she cracks me up, though. One day we'll do it. But it just hasn't happened, and I've got to learn how you do it, honestly. So no, that is not something that I would do. Okay. Have you ever live streamed? No, I have not live streamed. Have you ever been to a diamond painting retreat? No, I looked into them this last year. There was the one that Ditsy's Diamond Den was doing the hosting, and I went to the site, and I really wanted to go, and then I saw how much it costs. I'm like, gals, oh my gosh. I'm going to try to figure out a way to do one that's more of a budget-friendly retreat. I'm going to figure out how to set something like that up. I've done retreats with church and stuff like that where it's like $150 for, a weekend. So I know we can do it for a lot less than what they're doing. And that's been a few years, so it's probably going to be more than I think, but I think that we can get it for a lot less and I know that they do a lot of fun things and door prizes and stuff like that, and I still think we can do that. I think that people could bring something to donate for door prizes. I mean, there's ways to make it economical. We just have to be creative. And but I think a retreat where everybody brings something that's a door prize or a prize for something, for games and stuff, would make it really and then I think there's ways to do it for a lot less than what she was doing, and I'm sure it was a great retreat. It just was way out of my budget. It would take a lot for me to save up that much for a weekend. I would have to be gone for a week to, or, you know, a little bit longer to spend that kind of money. And so, you know, no, I haven't. I really wanted to, and it would have been a lot of fun. I know it would have been a lot of fun, and but I'm gonna try to figure out how would I, you know, do something like that and make it something that's a little more budget friendly, because that's just me. I'm kind of cheap when it comes to stuff like that, because, you know, the idea isn't that it has to be the latest and the greatest. It's a get together and hang out with other gals that are, you know, diamond painting, and, you know, I just think that we can, it can, I don't know the full prices and that kind of stuff, but I'm thinking there's got to be a way to get it done for less than that. So I'm gonna look into it. I don't know that it's gonna happen this year, but who knows? By next summer, I might have a plan. This wax is terrible. This is some wax that I got out of one of the kits, and it's just terrible. It's not very good at all. I need some heart wax, or some diamond painting heart wax. Do I have one in here? Because this wax sucks. No, I don't have any heart wax there. Let's try this one. Sorry guys, this wax is just bad. The multi-placer. Okay, next question. Do you seal your paintings? I have sealed a couple of them. I typically do not. I did it just to try it on a couple different budget kits. I bought a bunch of the stuff too, but I find that learning that by doing that you void your warranty with Diamond Art Club, so I haven't done it with any of those. And the only ones that I've really done were ones that I thought, this wax sucks. Oh my gosh, it's not even getting in there. Let's throw that away. I know I had some red heart wax. Just a minute, let me see if I can get. I know I had it. You know what? I have never used this stuff. I'm going to try it just out of frustration. But I have some of the Diamond Art Club putty that came with one of the Twist and Pick pins used to come with putty. Now, I didn't like it with my the one thing, but I'm gonna try it here. If that didn't come out, where did it go? Oh, that's funny. You guys want to laugh at me? I did that, but I didn't take the film off, and I know to do that. I just didn't do it. Wait a minute, now there's two films. I pulled it up. Oh gosh, this is maddening. Okay. That is funny. Yeah, this isn't even getting in my pin. Okay, so that's not working. I can't find any of my red wax. I know I had one over here, but it's not working. Let me see. I've got another, okay. Got one of these little boats that's got a, I don't know what's going on, folks, but it doesn't want to work. That's funny though. It's like it had 2 layers of that plastic film on it, so I thought I pulled it up, but then it wasn't pulled up. Okay, let's see if we can get this to work. But that what you call it, didn't work at all. That putty, it wouldn't even go into my, okay, let's hope that works. But I didn't like the putty in, or the putty in the pins. All the pins I had that had that, I gave away, because I just didn't like it. Okay, let's hope this works. Oh, it's working. Okay, let's see, back to our question. Sorry about that. I dropped a boat. So no, I have sealed a couple paintings, but for the most part, I do not seal my paintings. And the last question is, what is your favorite thing to diamond paint? I would have to say I enjoy animals and florals and landscapes, that kind of thing. I'm not huge into the people, mostly because I think a lot of times they don't look right because faces and stuff. Unless you just don't see a lot of it. Like I did one little square one of this little Latina girl. It was a really cute little painting, and I really liked that. And I have one painting that I got that I really like that has a girl in it that is more of a portrait type picture, but I guess my favorite really is animals. That's what I'm drawn to. That's what I tend to gravitate towards. Particularly lately, dogs, cats, you know, anything really. But those are the things. So I have answered all of the questions. And I didn't quite get my section done, and it isn't even a very big section. It's just a little tiny section that I didn't finish. It's like a little strip. So yeah. Well, this was fun. It's kind of different to, I didn't know, it was so funny. I was sitting here thinking this morning, I was like, oh, I need to get a video up, because I only got one up last week. And then I was like, oh, I need to get another video up. But sometimes I like to let them breathe a little bit, because the minute you put up another one, that one stops performing. And honestly, it was doing really well. So I was like, I'm just going to wait till the weekend and do my next one. And so here I am. But I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I'm like, what am I going to do? It's hard sometimes to figure, I mean, it's not hard to make a video. It's hard to know what to do sometimes. What topic should I pick? What is something that people are going to be interested in? I don't want to just drone on about nothing. So hopefully you guys like this video. It's a little different. Never done one of these before. Yeah, so if you liked the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm trying to get to that magic 1,000 subs, and I'm at like 600 and I want to say it said 50 or 60. So I'm right in that area there, which is pretty darn good because most of everything's come on in the last couple of months. I just somehow the algorithm has picked me up and started sending it out. But if you're not subscribed, if you would please do that. It doesn't mean you have to watch every video. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and it really does support the channel. It helps YouTube know that people are liking the content. If you liked this video, put a flower in the comments, especially people that are shy, they don't want to say anything. Just put a little emoji in that just shows me you were here. And yeah,